Thanks for joining me again. My niece had this picture enlarged from my parents several years ago. It's my brother and my dad and my mom back in the early 50s, actually before I was born. I was going to hang it on the wall, but I decided it needed to be more than just hanging on a wall. So I decided to make an easel for it. As you can see here, made an easel, makes it look more like a painting, adds a little style to it. I could have bought an easel, $20 up to a couple $100, but being a woodworker, I decided to make my own. So I wanted to make this video to show you how I made mine. A couple things to think about. I bought the cheapest piece of wood I could find because I didn't really know how it was going to come out, so I bought cheap wood. But you got to make sure that the wood is straight, because if it's not straight, since it's just 3 pieces of wood and a couple of supports, it's going to be obvious it's not straight, or if it warps at a later time, you may have to replace it or fix it. But I wanted to show you the steps I made it. Hope you enjoy the video. Like I said, I bought the cheapest piece of wood I could find, so as a result, they had some ink, and the surface was a little rough. So I ran them through a surface planer, get rid of the ink marks, and to smooth it just a little bit. Ran both sides through. Then after surface planing it, I measure them to length. In this case, I'm making it 45 inches long. I'm going to cut both boards. I have 2 boards in all. I love this miter saw because it has the shadow line, so you know exactly where your blade's going to cut. After cutting them to length, I'm going to run one edge through the jointer so I get a good square edge to do my rip cuts from. And I'm going to rip them down to 1.5 inch. I'll actually end up just a touch smaller than that because I'll run them through the jointer one more time. Now I'll run that cut edge through the jointer just so I can get a smooth, squared surface. Now you can cut your angles several different ways. This is the angle for the top where the 3 boards are going to meet. I decided to do it on my miter saw by putting some squared piece of wood as a guide, putting my long piece of wood up against it, and setting my miter gauge to 12 degrees. Like I say, you can do this on your table saw. You can do it by hand with a circular saw. Just whatever works your workflow. And here you can see how they're going to meet at the top. Got 2 of them angled, one straight. I run them through the router this time to round over the edges, so making them 1/8 inch round over. Now when you round the angle part, you want to skip over the angle part and just route the, where the squared edge is. Then I take one of the scrap pieces I cut off with the angle on the miter saw and use that so it can square up. And I'm going to draw a line across the top where the 3 meet. And this will be where I drill my hole all the way through for the bolt to hold them together. And I figured while I had it on the floor and positioned right, I'd go ahead and cut the 2 outside legs so that they're going to be square to the floor. They'll sit on the floor flat. So I'm going to mark them and then cut them later. Now I'm going to transfer that mark to the side, which is where I'll actually drill the hole to go all the way through. Do the same thing on the angled piece. And I clamp it to my drill press. So make sure that my drill bit's going to go right in the center of the wood through the line that I transferred. I'm cutting a 1/4 inch hole, which is what size boats I generally use, like 1/4 20 thread boats. Looks like my bit might be just a little dull, so I need to get a new bit probably. Then for the angle pieces, I do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I use the angle as my guide so I can get the correct angle of the hole through the wood to line them up. This isn't the boat I'm going to use final, but it worked for me to line it up and show you what I was achieving there by drilling the holes all the way through. Then at the bottom, remember I marked it at that angle for the floor. I come at the same 12-degree angle that I have my miter saw set. Then I temporarily hang the photo on the easel so I can measure how low and how high things are going to be, and I know where to put my crossbeam. So I want my crossbeam to be higher than the photo, so when you're looking at it from the front, you don't see the crossbeam. And this crossbeam is what adds support and strength to the tripod setting. I hang my crossbeam temporarily and mark where I want that to be, and also that'll give me the length I need. Then I hold it on with a clamp and drill a pilot hole, which then I'm going to use a countersink Forstner bit to make a countersink for the boat head so it sits flush with the surface. Be careful you don't drill through your finger. And then here you can see me drilling the hole the rest of the way through. I said be careful with your finger. And this is what it looked like with the boat flush to the head, using wing nuts to hold the frame together. Then I position my support for the third leg, which is kind of the back leg, and drill holes, same holes for that, to put my wing nuts and bolts through. Unfortunately, my camera decided it wanted to focus just at random places, so occasionally these pictures get out of focus. And after I got through the front support, I'll bring my back leg up to where I want it to be even with that piece of wood and drill a hole through the side. Then here you can see the support beams all bolted and wing nutted in. Again, sorry for the focus. And then I've put the final bolt in the top, countersunk that as well. Then I drilled the holes for the 1/4-inch dowel to hold the picture up. Okay, got Mavie joining me here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you get to make your own easel. It's a fun project. It's something to try. And of course, being a woodworker, always willing to try different things. Join me next time. Please like and subscribe. Thank you much.